I'm sitting here with ShantiMayi today on Zoom, and we're talking about a new project. I'm really delighted and honored that she's going to be part of A Year to Grow, a new online program that I will be launching next year. ShantiMayi will join us in the spring, and she will speak of a change of heart. ShantiMayi, can you say something about that? What change of heart is that?
Well, it's a change of heart that frees us from the desire to collect love in superficial ways. And the change is actually permitting, maybe those words are not exactly right. I never like to permit the universe to do what it's doing, but there is a kind of an allowance that we find that love that flows out of us is much more rewarding than seeking it out, and the disappointment that comes with that, and the frustration that comes with that, and the loneliness that comes with that, and the attention to the me that needs to be, I would say, cracked open. And in a way, you can say gently or just shattered, so that the true emergence of the whole being is functioning through love. When we talk about a change of heart, we're speaking about love. We're speaking about forgiveness. We're speaking about kindness. We're speaking about generosity. We're speaking about being very straight with compassion. We become strong in love and not weak in seeking out love. We actually, becoming is not the right word either, because what we do is we discover what is really true in us. So we shift from wanting, we shift from seeking, we shift from looking for, we shift from disappointment in, we shift from attractions that are sometimes wonderful and sometimes not, to actually being an outpouring of love for the world. This is the shift, and this is what the world is requiring right now. So much, even in personal. You don't have to go out and be a soldier of love for the world, and everybody has to see it. It's very, very intimate, and it works in the family. It works in the neighborhood. It works in oneself. It works through all relationships with people, with nature. And you just are the loving being that's actually aching and calling for expression, rather than hiding that love behind being so sensitive that nobody can say anything to you because you may be offended. And it is a change of heart. This is a shift of consciousness right now. You know, that may sound real new agey and all of this and overstated, but there is no kidding about it. That's exactly what's going on. And it's going to take some time. And my master used to tell me it's not only the earth, ShantiMayi, that's going through this very, very turbulent place of time, but it's also the whole universe. The whole universe is having this kind of wave that's going to push people, tumble people, be very high and very low. And the purpose, if you can call it a purpose, of that shift is that we come to our heart and we begin to live like humans again, rather than, well, wanting people to approve of us when we don't approve of ourselves. See, it becomes a very alchemical process. It becomes very deep inner process. And we have to, with a lot of compassion, eventually, anyhow, we have to admit that we're going the wrong way when we want others to make us right with ourselves. So we make ourselves right with ourselves through a change of heart. And what's really beautiful about that, step by step, slowly, slowly, and sometimes in a flash, that what you discover within that's really genuinely alive and I can use Native American Indian terms, and it's not appropriation. It's not cultural appropriation. It's cutting ourselves off from the wisdom of other great elders and traditions. Another way to be offended so easily, we shan't go there. Yeah, well, let's go there. So the American Indian would say that we discover the relative in everything, and it is a relative world. Relativity. I mean, Einstein showed it. You know, there's a relativity here. Everything is relative to everything else. But we come into it through a change of heart by cultivating fearlessness.
And how do
And
we
we're
do
already,
that?
well, we already have everything that we're seeking. And that is so beautiful. We're already fearless. I give you an example. I'm going to twist this a little bit if you don't mind. Can I do that right now?
Of course.
Okay. Okay. A woman wrote to me and she said that she had no courage to do something very small. No courage to do something very small. I don't remember what it was. A little tiny itty bitty thing. And she had the courage to open, and she didn't recognize this. She had the courage to open a yoga studio, a meditation hall, and a place for people to come to express and to be, you know, community of spiritual expression. So she opened that, but she wasn't courageous. Oh, here's what it was. She wasn't courageous enough to raise her hand in satsang. So I wrote to her and I said, you are courageous enough to open up a center for people to come into. How can you say that you're not courageous? And it really pains my heart sometimes, really. I don't mind that my heart is pained. It's a beautiful expression. It's a beautiful sense of love. I don't mind that at all. So I'm not trying to protect my heart, and that's another change of heart, because the heart is the protector itself. Love is the protector itself. It is the shield. It is the shine. It is the ability. It is the strength. It is the character. It is the relationship. It is deep understanding. It is wisdom. It is dignity. And why would we not want to live like that? We have all of that. We are all of that. We aren't becoming enlightened. We are realizing what is already in place. And that's part of the change of heart, is not becoming and being really disappointed, not becoming. And well, but to really understand, like the lady who couldn't raise her hand in satsang. Oh, she couldn't do that. She didn't have the courage. But she's so courageous and didn't recognize it. She just didn't recognize that she had that. And she had it in a big way. But when little things come up like a raised hand, she denies what's inside of her, what's already present, what she's already expressed. So we don't become, we realize what we are, what we have, you see, what we are. We are dignified, we are loving, we are intelligent, we are wise. And you know, I just met a guy on an interview, a really interesting fellow, bright and all of this, but he knew he was bright and he was humble in it. And it wasn't an act. There's something about recognizing what is already within you, what is truly yourself in expression, without being ashamed to say so. We're not ashamed to say, oh, I failed. Somehow we like that. I failed. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. Well, if you say you can't or you say you can, both is right. Why do humans not truly cherish those parts of themselves that they want so badly to be expressed from inside of themselves? Inside, we say inside, but that's because it's intimate. That's because those qualities are they're there. I mean, I don't have the courage to raise my hand, and yet I open this space for everyone. It's not, it's a lack of recognition. And I guess in Sweden, you've been told that you're not better than anyone or anybody's not better than you. Well, that is true and not true.
Yes.
It's got both sides. And if you look at it from a yogi's point of view, that's true. Nobody's better than you. You ain't any better than anyone else. And that's a wonderful thing because it levels the playing field and opens it up. But if you feel suppressed by that, or that you can't move forward by that, or you can't recognize the greatness in yourself, because human beings are great and they're extraordinarily intelligent and creative and extraordinarily loving and could burst this world open in a totally different way. But they won't even admit that they have dignity or that they're a loving being. That, oh no, not me. One day maybe, but you know, so the change of heart really has to do with not owning what you are, but acknowledging that these qualities of real living are already present in you and are calling through the heart to be expressed, and to cease saying I can't and I'm not good enough and I don't know how and somebody has to tell me, and if they do I'm sure to fail and I'm too shy and I, you know, all of this kind of, I don't know, self-denial. The world is in pain because of it. We can have nice clothes, we can have nice looks, we can have a nice car, we can have a nice home. But what about what's in us that is so exquisite that it cannot be purchased? It is not showy. And you're already a blessing to the world because you have acknowledged the love in your heart. There's a change of heart. There's a way of seeing through the heart the whole of life. And it doesn't make life, it doesn't change life, but it makes life different. The yogi sees life totally different than the person who wants life to be different. We're just happy the way it is. Sometimes not, but we're happy that we're not happy. We're okay with everything.
Yeah, I
It's a
think that's an
real
important point also. Like, because I hear you and I agree, there's so much beauty inside, and we often have moments where we feel, oh, in our strength and so. But then when we're in a moment of self-doubt or something, and it's maybe very, very strong or intense, like how to make that shift in that moment itself, or what to do then when one is really in it.
don't dally with self-doubt. You serve I think it's the fox or the horse, I forget the story, but that there's two beings with you all of the time. And one is negative and harsh and on oneself and the world. And the other being is prayerful and kind and generous. And both of these are possibilities in you. They're not you, but they're possibilities in you. So what are you feeding? You know, I just gave a sadhana and it just seems, one of the things I can say, excuse me, one of the things that I can say is that I'm seeing people leap. I mean, leap. And it seems like it's taken a long time, but really not, right? Come on, come on. But I've seen people leap, and with a very simple sadhana, and some people write to me, I have asked for reports on the sadhana, then I report back to them, comment on it. But the sadhana is to stop belittling anyone or calling them names, nasty little names, yourself or anyone else, you know, your love, your husband, your wife, your children. You know, somebody wrote to me the other day and said, I don't call people names, but I do see how stupid they are.
Well,
Yeah, well, stupid is a name.
yes.
And somebody else wrote to me and said, gosh, it's really subtle. But everyone said that it benefited them to watch how they think, to treat people as they would want to be treated, and that they will continue this sadhana for the rest of their lives. Everyone said that they will continue this sadhana for the rest of their lives because it benefited them. 1 month. And this little sadhana was a huge leap for people. Mm-hmm. And it made people focused. And it gave them the opportunity to see how they think without just passing it by. And it also gave them the opportunity to be very compassionate, because this is, you know, this is a transformation, and you can't get stuck with, oh, I do this and I'm not good and I have failed. Nah, 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 nah. It's just more of what you're watching. You know, you watch those notions and just let them go by. And automatically people fell into their heart.
Yes.
Yeah, automatically they fell into their heart. So that's a really good sadhana. And you have to be compassionately aware and not beating yourself up when it happens. You're just releasing pinned up anger and resentment. And you know, when you say, when people are in a state of doubt, I would say doubt the doubt. And it's work, and it's a beautiful work. You know, if you're going to be lazy, okay, it's not going to happen. And that's your choice. That's a choice you have. You know, the non-dualists say you don't have a choice. That's true. When you can no longer lie, when you can no longer manipulate, then you're really and truly choiceless when you say, I can't go down there anymore. But until then, you do have a choice. So,
Yeah.
yeah, change. It's really important. Go ahead.
I guess
Please.
because that sadhana that you describe, it's quite simple in a way, because that's something we're told, like in our conditioning growing up, you shouldn't judge anyone. So we know, of course, that that's not the road to take, but it happens anyway. So what I'm touched by is that these people were willing to really examine what happened, to do, like, to conduct the experiment and see what makes a difference. And that shifts something, because it's so different when you want something truly from within, rather than there is this should.
Yeah. I
So
like
that's,
should though.
yeah.
Yeah. You should do this. And I don't want to be offended by any words. I want to use any word I want to use. I don't like this spirituality that you can say this and you can't say that. To heck with that. I'll say whatever works. So you should do this, and it would be really good for you. So like that. I want to tell you a little story, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It has nothing to do with this interview. So in the United States, there is a man named General Flynn, and I've known two generals in my life. I know of General Flynn. And every general, armed force general that I have met has been incredibly kind, incredibly family oriented, very intelligent, and very gentle person, which you wouldn't expect. You'd expect them to be like this, and right? Really rigid. And so General Flynn was arrested for lying to the FBI. I just want to tell you the story. And then he was held for 3 years. And then the FBI said, well, actually, he didn't lie to us, and we really don't have a case, after he had depleted all of his money. And that was true. He didn't have a case. And the judge says, well, I'm not going to let the FBI drop the case. I'm going to keep it. So he kept General Flynn in the case for another year on his own dislike for General Flynn. Mm-hmm. Well, General Flynn knew a lot about the government, so they were quite afraid of him. But General Flynn's one of the most, he just prays to God, and he's just one of the most gentle people you ever heard. So here this guy has gone through losing all of his assets, all of his money, being held by law for something that he didn't do. So the other day in an interview, somebody asked him, he said, well, how do you feel about Judge Sullivan? And true to Flynn's character, he said, you know, my mother told me never to say anything bad about anyone. If I don't have something good to say about anything, the person, I don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
The hell he went through, the meanness he went through, and he comes up with that. And these spiritual folks, it's time not to fool around anymore. There is a shaking of the planet, and it looks to me like the Christian Judgment Day. It looks to me like Maharaji said it was Parivartan. I think we should take it seriously. I think spiritual people are oftentimes way too soft and deciding whether they want to or not. Mm. And okay, that's up to you. But it is a time now when either you're going to be rooted in love and you're going to offer that onto the planet as an offering of your very self into the enlightenment of the whole, or you're going to be withering and self-protecting and all of these kinds of veneers that doesn't let one person touch his own self. I'm not so much into tenderness, only when it comes out of me, not when I have to dance to somebody else's music. You can have me, but this is the conditions you can have me in. I say, go away. There's somebody who's going to take care of you well. It's not me. I just feel that it's you know that this is the way I've always been. So I don't know if I ever even work in the program or not. I've always been like this. I'm actually more like this now than ever. You know, if you forfeit what is really marvelous in you for what isn't marvelous in you, I really have a deep compassion for it, but I won't be around it. I won't aid it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I
I
guess,
wouldn't do anybody any service by doing that, would I?
mm, I was just going to say that. That's why you touch people and inspire people, because we get to see how it can be lived, and I think that's very important.
Yeah, and I'm very tender-hearted. I'm very tender-hearted, very soft inside, and very strict on the outside. Not for anybody else. You can do whatever you want,
Yes.
right? I never ask anybody to do anything. If they want to do, they do. If they don't want to do, they don't. I'm a mirror. I am a reminder, and I don't play around. Mm. Because I love you. Whether you love you or not, I do.
Mm.
So it's not tough love and all these cute little phrases that we use. It's genuine, caring, compassionate, loving for you. And I'm very patient with you. You have to want to have a change of heart. But if you don't have that, we don't have a relationship. Which is fine with me and fine with you. Somebody's going to take care of you. God bless you. You're going to go on your way. We'll light the path for you. But there's something serious about the time now. And the world is going to shake even more. And every country is going to have its roots just shaken and tumbled. It's coming for everyone. And it's going to push us in a place where we're willing for the transformation, which is really just a shift of how to look at things, or shift of ideas, or ceasing to sabotage oneself. The shift
Yes.
in consciousness is not going to be an easy kumbaya moment. It's not. It's already showing that this is going to be very, it's going to make us be very much in a state of open, strong, dignified integrity and love for all beings without any what do I want to say? The word is not coming, but I know that you know what I mean. With it, it has to be genuine and full, and everybody has that already. So there's no problem to get there. It's
Mm.
going to shift the world fearlessly, with no fear about it. It's good for everyone. No fear for your children. Kids will probably come through better than anyone. And it's a polishing. It's a polishing of the heart. It's a pressure of the diamond. It is the beauty of birth. You're having the labor pains right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
We have to have a change of heart as a humanity, and every person will face the mirror of their heart as to whether they will participate or not.
Mm.
Beautiful time in its own way, you know. Depends on where you're looking.
Mm. So that change, can it be, I hear what you say, we can put our attention in the right place, and
It's going to be made.
sorry, it's breaking up a bit now. Say again.
I'm sorry. That's going to be a very important point that you just brought up.
Yes.
To attend to things, to attend to yourself, to attend to life in a loving manner.
Yes. And that will be a little bit, because you will join this program, you will be in the program as a guest teacher in the spring. And the spring is a lot about that. It's about finding, what do I want to cultivate? What do I want to grow? And how do I do that? How do I tend to the little plants that sprout?
That's a very interesting thing that you're saying there, because you already know how. We are, whoever we are who is encouraging persons, we are to point out the way. The how is the journey, and you learn how. You don't be told how. You learn how. Yeah, because your insides are calling for the how. They're calling for the journey, and my words are not going to do you any good until you have the experience. My words are a directive, and you either take them or you don't. But I am not speaking to your intellect anyhow that wants to know how. I'm speaking to your heart from my heart that already knows that it's step by step down the pathway. And experience is the how.
Yes.
Whatever it is in the moment that is feeding you, that is challenging you, that is giving you peace, that is bringing the love out of you, that is tiring you, that is resting in you. It's the experience that is the most important.
I agree.
Yeah, I
So
know you
it's
do.
really about a very deep kind of listening and sensing oneself, and
That's wonderful.
and that's what we can cultivate, and that's also something that we can support in each other, I feel. So that's why I
That's
created this program.
absolutely. And you know, I say this, and maybe we can end with this. You know, I often tell people, my guru told me some really outrageous and marvelous stories, things that people would never, I mean, they would just like go, whoa, I think that's nonsense. I never listened to him like that. I always listened to him without a carping spirit, without an analysis. I didn't have to believe him. I didn't have to disbelieve him. Drips a leaf off the tree, like the sound of the Ganges going over a stone, like the sound of the rain falling down the window. And it all went into the right place. And listening in the way where you're not deciding about whether it's right for you or not. You don't have to worry about that. The heart only receives what is truly beneficial for it. Otherwise, the heart kind of waits until that person will have a change of heart and start shining from that inside. And what I mean by shining is love. It's a very demanding pathway. Wonderful. Wonderful. It demands everything of us. I love that. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Thank you, and thank you, ShantiMayi. Thank you for reminding us and for being such a good guide on the path.
Welcome.
Say
Yeah,
again.
I just love you with all of my heart. I always have, and I think your project's going to is already wonderful, because whatever will inspire a person and whenever they will take that direction, again, it's thank you, God. Somebody has understood what is really truly beneficial in life, and I feel this is what you are doing, and I thank you for that. I thank you deeply for that. I love you with all my heart.
I love you too.
Namaste.
Namaste.